Yes, people. Welcome to Saeed TV and welcome to the Sunday Unfiltered show. We're back. We're live. No 3-point collectors. I can't lie to you. It's a 1-point collectors crew. But listen, it is what it is. You know what I mean? We moved. McTominay decided to you know what I mean, to be against us, man. You know what I mean? He tried to be the ops, but you know what I mean? We're here. Big up to everybody who's locked in. Over 150 of you straight in the building. What you got to do first and foremost is hit that like button. That's the first thing you do, people. Hit the like button. Let's get the show cracking. Subscribe to the Mandem as well. Their channels are in the description. Sarcasm City, Double A with Talking Kits, and obviously Planet Faz with his channel. But Mandem, Flo, let's start with you. You get me in the building. What are you telling me?
Yeah, man. Good to be back, fam. You know what I'm saying? My apologies, people, that I missed last week. That was on me. But yeah, man, good to be back. And thank you for having me as well. Much appreciated.
It's all love. It's all love in the building. We got man like Planet Faz in the building. Planet Faz, are you gonna? Because I seen some tweet yesterday about Sancho, so it's perfectly right. You know what I mean. We're gonna be talking about it today. But how are you first and foremost?
I'm alive, man. Midea, I'm alive. I can't complain. I'm working on some Planet Faz merch. What you Mandem? What are you lot thinking?
I like that.
It changes color if I turn. It changes color in that.
Send me one out.
I fucks with it, man. I fucks with it. You know what I'm saying? I like it.
I'm trying to get the inner kid out of me, you know. Man United let me down with the kit this year, so I thought, let me go and make my own kit, man. Let me go. I'm good, man. I'm blessed. It's good to be with the Mandem.
Come on, man. Always. And obviously, we got man like Double A in the building. What are you telling me, bro? You good?
Bro, I'm okay. I'm sensational. I'm feeling good. Again, like Flawless, apologies for the no-show last week. I've paid my subs. I paid my fine. And then I'm back allowed in training, allowed on the first team again. You know what I'm saying?
That's it, man. But listen, people, a lot of people wanted to be talking about this. I see some people in the chat saying Dortmund robbed us, man. You know what I mean? Let's not go that far. But listen, we have to talk about it, man. Let's start with you, Flawless. Is time running out for Sancho? Is there enough excuses that's been made for Sancho? Where are you on Sancho first and foremost? Because it feels like a lot of people just think that we just give like Sancho just kind of like no criticism at all. It's almost as if he's immune to criticism. No, there isn't. But where are you in terms of your feeling in Sancho?
Where I've been at the start of the season, and I said this season I'm looking at him closely, and he has to deliver. I think me and you, when we did, it might have been on this show, and we did the player ratings, and I think we put Sancho. I think he was in good. And I said, next time we do a player ratings, he needs to be an exceptional. He needs to be in a higher tier. Has he been good enough this season? No, he's not been. Has his form been good like more recent games? No, he was better in the first half. Well, not the first half of the season, but more earlier on in the season, the Liverpool games, stuff like that. But because he's a winger who he's not going to kick it down the outside and then run down the other side, people are going to get on his case. And as always, with Manchester United fans and our fan base, the sky's falling. As soon as a player's not in good form, he's rubbish, he's a pointless signing, he needs to be sold. Like there's very little middle ground. The same way when a player's playing well, he's the best ever. We should have signed him earlier, give him the keys to the club. We should build the club all around him. So I look at it as, yes, the criticism is deserved, and he should be on the bench currently. The problem that we have is our squad is light in terms of attacking areas. If Sancho is benched, which I do believe he should be benched, people, who goes in for him? Is it right? Ronaldo's AWOL, which I'm sure we'll get onto. Well, he's been fined. He's with the under-21s, and rightfully so. Is it Martial's injured? So is it an Alanga thing? Like, what do? We've seen it with the subs against Chelsea. We had Bruno playing on the left. Bruno went to the left. Sancho played on the right. And Rashford was up top or something like that. I can't even remember. But my point is, it goes to show how light we are. I think we ended the game. I think McTominay was playing centre forward. So we're light in that area. But yeah, in regards to Sancho, yes, he deserves criticism, but not over-the-top criticism. The season is not over. We are 10 games in. But I guarantee you what will happen, Saeed. If he has 2 or 3 good games and we're doing the shows in 2 or 3 weeks' time, it'll be, we should have never doubted Sancho. Best in the world. This is the player we got from Dortmund, and all that nonsense. Like, yes, his form needs to get better, people. Yes, he deserves criticism. But let's not go over the top and say he's wasted, pointless signing. I'm saying let's give him time and let's see. It's all about this season. He has to deliver this season. If he don't deliver this season, then it'll be a squad player and we'll sign. I think we need another left winger anyway. So despite that, he's a good squad player to have. So let's just see, people. That's my thoughts on it.
Where are you on it in terms of Planet Vaz, in terms of Sancho? Is it a confidence thing? Is he quite out for the Premier League? You know what I mean? What's your feeling on Sancho and why he isn't being able to kind of like, he has a little bit of form and then he dips, and he has a bit of form and he dips. Probably like every Man United player that in our forward line does. They play well and then they dip. But a lot of people seem to thinking that Sancho's a bit different. Been a year and a bit now, and it's not had that continuity. Where's your head at with Sancho?
He needs to start showing us what he's about. Listen, you want to come and chill with the big boys, this is what it is. You have to start showing what you're made of. Time. This thing about people keep asking to give time. We ain't won the league in 10 years, brothers and sisters. People were watching. We ain't won the league title in fucking decade. Time, man. You lot, everybody wants to give time to everyone. Give Ronaldo time at 37 years old. Give Sancho time at 22, 23 years old. Everybody, I ain't got time, man. Ten Hag is bringing quality out of Dalot. Ten Hag is bringing quality out of McTominay. He's bringing quality out of David De Gea for it. Time, we ain't got time. Let's keep the energy here. Everybody, Eric Ten Hag is here. Prove your worth. It's as simple as I can say it. Prove your worth. Man United, the badge, we have diluted the level so much over the years that now we want to give willy-nilly everybody time. No. Hold bench, come back, prove your worth, you can stay. Don't prove your worth. Let's keep that recycling belt going and let's keep getting the next talent and the next talent and the next talent. Because we want to be moving like a big club. Big clubs don't give players time, brothers. Come on, let's be real, man. Big clubs don't give players time. Big club fans don't give players time. I'm tired of giving time. He is, number one fact, cost us 80 mil, a very expensive player. Number two, he is one of the highest paid youngsters in the world, by the way. He's up there. Yeah, you leave out the Mbappe because of his crazy contract. But other than that, he's one of the highest paid youngsters. At 21 years old, man was making $350 a week. These things have an impact on a player's mentality. Whether you'll agree with me or not, they do. Now,
so you're trying to say that he thinks he's you think he's coasting then? Is that what you're trying to say? With the
100%. 100%.
You really think he's coasting?
But the thing is, last year, the excuse was, well, Sancho or such a person's playing bad. Well, the whole squad is playing bad. So, hey, guess what? Everybody fresh, clean slate. We gave everybody a fresh, clean slate. Certain players are proving their worth. Whether they're in the same position or not, certain players are. But when I'm looking at the pitch and I'm seeing Elanga come on and skin 3 players against Chelsea, whip a ball into the box and just, we were lacking a forward to tap that ball in. Those are concerns for me because that's supposed to be my 80 million pound guy doing it. Now, to be devil's advocate, because I do want to be balanced, Sancho has got numerous goals this season quicker than he did last season. Quicker. He's got his goal involvement. He did get that assist against Fred. These are important numbers. If you want to do numbers, these are important numbers. But there's a saying, numbers don't lie. But in this case, you see the numbers in Sancho, but then you see the performance. He has the odd moment where he'll get his assist, but then the overall game, he'll be ghosting. So it's a hit and miss. I do want to see him on bench. I think it is better for him. I want him to go and assess his game with Ten Hag and understand what he can bring to the table, what part of the game does he need to improve, and give Elanga some minutes against Sheriff especially, because he, at the moment, is the only player that can play that position. Martial in here, Rashford in the middle. Give Elanga the minute. In an ideal situation, Martial would be in the middle. Sancho would not be seeing any minutes in the starting because it would be Rashford on the left. But right now, Elanga's the guy, man. Give him the time he deserves.
It's what I can't lie to you. I think I'm tired of watching Elanga, and he's not even played enough games. I just think for me, he's very one-dimensional. With Sancho, at least you could get a bit more out of it.
It's because with Elanga, we know what his limitations are. Like, he's a squad player at best. We know I think with Sancho, I think the frustration that is there is the fact that we know there is talent there. It's just getting him to perform to a certain level. And does he need to improve? Yes. But I said I would give him this season and let's see what you can do. And if he's not good enough, he'll get shipped out. Because even if Sancho has a fantastic season, we still need a strike. We still need a winger. We still need a left winger. Despite that, we're still short in that area, regardless if he turns his form around or not.
What do you think of Double A? Didn't play well yesterday. Got hooked off straight away after he made that bad pass. Where are you in terms of Sancho at the minute? Are you patient with him? Are you now like me when I'm like, listen, he has to deliver? Like, you know what I mean? We're having to wait now. I can't really back you that much, but you've got to give me something now. You've got to give us something.
I kind of sit in between. I'm not saying I'm sitting on the fence, but somewhere in between Flawless and Faz, to be fair. Like, I know he's still a developmental player. He's 22 years old. If we'd have bought him for 15, 20 million, the price tag obviously isn't a thing, and he's allowed to settle in, bed himself in, and he's allowed to make more mistakes. Being the fact he's an 80 million pound player, like you say, Faz, he's earning ridiculous amounts of money. That pressure is on from the get-go, and that's when the big players step up. And all I'm seeing right now is a player that is so low on confidence that nothing is coming right for him. Nothing's coming off. The passes are sloppy. He won't take on his man. And he just looks like, I said it before, I said it earlier on in the season, he needs what Martial was getting in pre-season, that Ten Hag love, the arm around the shoulder. We all saw that picture in pre-season when he was talking to Martial, and Martial was doing it in pre-season. Sancho now needs that. He clearly needs the manager to just have a chat with him and back him and say, listen, you are going to be my guy. I need you to step up now and just do the simple things, but do the brave thing, do the thing you're good at. Because Sancho's not been known for sloppy passes or, just his head being out of the game. He's been a confident young man who drove at defenders, took players on and was creating and scoring goals. The one thing I will criticize him on, and the thing that I think he needs to do now, as soon as he can, it's probably too late now, but he's not in the World Cup squad. So the start of this season was imperative for him to hit the ground running. Yes, he scored a couple of goals, but they're forgotten now because no one's backing him. The overreaction, like Forrest was saying, the overreaction on social media, he's the worst player that's ever played for us, if you believe the tweets you've seen yesterday. And it's like there's no middle ground, there's no grey area, and football players can't just turn it on willy-nilly. If they could, every single player would be a 10 every week. But he did need to hit the ground running this season. He's not done that. He probably won't go to the World Cup, and that's a lesson for him to learn and look at himself and say, I can never let this happen again. And the back end of this season, if we're pushing for top 4 and maybe a trophy or two, he's going to be an important man. I will say as well, we're talking about no options. I think he's played better on the right. And him and Anthony are very frustrating in the fact they will not take on a man, either of them, for some reason. For one game, maybe West Ham, I'd swap him, play Anthony on the left, Sancho on the right, and then there's no cutting in. Then they can try and get to the byline and get some crosses in for if there's a striker. But it is concerning because he needs to perform, and that's the bottom line of it. And if he doesn't, he'll be out of the team, and he may be out of the club, and that's not what any United fan wants, I don't think.
Yeah. Big up to Zamias. Just going to run through a couple of super chats. Zamias says here, ref was a cheat today at the Arsenal game match. Well done, Newcastle. Well,
cry
now
more,
we're talking
man.
about refs now. You know what I mean?
Cry
now,
more, innit? Can't beat Southampton away. Cry more could never be my club. Never.
Could never be my club. I'm telling you, Zane. Hit 44 says, big up Arsenal fans. Sancho will be fine. Calma. Big up to Winsky, bro. Appreciate super chat. Yes, Sancho is playing within himself, but not all players conform to change at the same time. He'll come good. Thoughts on Jermaine Frimpong rumors? The one that plays for Leverkusen, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So listen. We need it. So we're all for strengthening our team in January because our depth is shocking. Zamiasi says here, Arsenal United should go for Benzema in January. I mean, that is so random, Benzema. But you go for a minute. You go for him. You guys need a striker. You know what I mean? Yeah. But listen, Zamiasi is always the one, man. Big up to Ganzo. Big up to you, bro. Sancho is low on confidence. Seems like he bought the nonsense that he can't beat his man. Also, he looks slower than he ever has. Out of shape? ? And obviously, hit 44. That the thing with me with Sancho is, and I've always said this for me, He's not the winger that everyone thinks he is. He's not the winger where you're going to get from Germany, where he was beating a lot of man. Germany, again, I'm not going to disrespect him, but it's not the Premier League. He's not Rashford. He's not Antony. He's not that sort of winger. He's a winger who relies on 1-2 given goals. You know what I mean? You see the Martial in pre-season mode where we see the best of Sancho. He relies on them little short passes, intricate 1-2 play. And that moment there, we haven't had it because we haven't got a striker. That is still an excuse for the passes he made yesterday. Don't get me wrong. But I think, I don't think we'll see Sancho's best overall game until we, have a consistent number 9 and someone that he can link with so that he can make the runs off. He can then play the passes through him behind. Because I think Sancho is probably the best player in terms of, you've seen it with Dortmund, Haaland, playing that ball in between the lines and then for the striker to run off. Right now, he's having to maybe reduce his game a little bit because obviously Ronaldo wants to come deep all the time. And then Rashford is always looking to run all the time in behind, and he's a bit of a headless chicken. So with that, saying that, Flawless, has he still got, what areas has he still got to do better? What is his areas that you're kind of like, come on, Sancho, you've got to do better here?
Yeah, you mentioned it there, like what his game is. He's not a kick and run winger. He isn't. That doesn't mean you can't take on your man, though. I'd like him, even though that's not his game, he still has skill to take on a man. I'd be a little bit more aggressive. The goal we scored, the winner against Omonia. You know what I'm saying? That's a prime example.
How do you want him to go against his man? Because I'm trying to look at his game, He doesn't beat you for trickery. He beats you for kind of movement, intelligence.
Yeah.
It's not a kind of like he'll dribble past you. It's a weird one, isn't it?
I hear you, but that falls under everything, like trickery, drop of the shoulder, being smart, because he's not as slow as people are making out like man's Maguire pace.
On the ball,
like,
he's quick.
Like Sancho can shift. Is he electric? No. He's not Rashford quick. No. But he's still quick enough to attempt to beat his man. But when I say that, I'd like him to just be more aggressive. Start backing up his fullback. Make the fullback go into the box. Because then that way, like I say, the winner we scored against Omonia, he did that. He didn't necessarily go past his man, but he could have laid it back to Eriksen. He checked. Could have laid it back again to Eriksen, then he's checked again. Then played it across the boxes, dropped to McTominay, and we scored the goal. So all I'm asking is for more. I want him to play with more intent. That's what that is. A little bit more. And everything you said is right, though, in terms of the type of winger he is. He is one of those wingers he's a link-up man. You know what I'm saying? He's intelligent. He'll pick up pockets of space, play 1-2s, give and goals. But with no Martial, that's not Rashford's game as a 9. We know that. And that's not Ronaldo's game as a 9. So what he has to do without that is adapt, because you're not always going to have the perfect setup and the perfect blend and the perfect balance. So we need to see more from him, because I believe the reason why I'm so critical of him is because the talent is there. It's not like Alanga where I'm like, you're limited. Sancho is definitely not limited from a technical ability. Double A made a great point, no, confidence. And people act like these players, well, some people do, like the players are just robots. Confidence plays a key part. If you are not confident in whatever you are doing, you can be the best in the world in terms of ability. But if you're not confident, and he's not, and people are on his case, and that's what it is. All he maybe needs is a goal or an assist or a good performance or a few good passes make a few good passes and give him goals and things like that. But we seen it earlier on in the season. Like, people were talking about his output. He was scoring goals. He scored the goal against Liverpool. He scored the goal, I believe, against Leicester. Two game winners. One might have been the first one, I can't remember. But he was having an impact. But like I said, it's a question of, I said this season, so I'm going to give him this season. And then if he's not good enough, he will be dropped or moved on, which I'm cool with. Because like I said just previously, we need a left winger regardless. Because our strength in depth isn't good. But yeah, man, I think Sancho will be all right. I think he'll be all right. He needs to add more. He needs to add more. I don't think he needs to add more dimensions to his game. I just think he needs to start implementing stuff more. Man, are saying the Premier League's tough. Is it? That's Haaland. Is the Premier League tough?
Is it tough for a guy who's honest about his game? I think Sancho's an honest player. I think he doesn't reveal too much. He doesn't show off what he can do a lot. I think he needs to show off, man. I want Sancho to show off. And you know what?
But you said it there, but that ties into what Double A just mentioned, and I mentioned it. Confidence. You ain't gonna show off if you're not confident, or you might have to have irrational confidence like Bruno, where Bruno will try we could be losing 3-0 and Bruno gonna try a shot from 40 yards. He's that type of player. So yeah, I would like to see, like we see Anthony expressing himself. I'd love to see that from Sancho.
Yeah.
Love it. I agree. I do agree.
There is clearly a blocker, a mental blocker there that you can see his hesitation at times. Obviously, man didn't play football. You know what I'm saying. If you have a bit of technicality in you, you're gonna try and do something with the ball. You know, if you've got an ability on the ball, you're gonna try and do something. But if you're taking a bashing or you're not able to keep up or maintain that level, you're gonna try and go for the safe option. Reference to the assist that he gave to McTominay in that game against Everton in the last minute, he could have turned. If you compare that picture to the same picture as the Sheriff game, please do correct me if it's the Sheriff of the Omonia game where he passed it to Malaysia and we conceded. It's the same situation, just further up in the pitch where he passes it to Malaysia because he wants to get out of trouble. Where in this instant he has two players. First player comes in, another player is coming in, and Sancho turns and sees Luke Shaw. He says, "Nah, bro, nah. I got it in me. I'm Jadon." He turns again, and then he finds a very cute pass to McTominay. This is what Sancho needs to be doing. Take the risk. Because at that moment, if he didn't take the risk, we don't get that goal.
The pass, Faz. Did you see that pass where he was meant to play across the touch to the byline, and he went and passed it backwards, and I was like, that was a cross you had to make there, Sancho. And he played it across, and I was like, that's where I'm looking at. You know what I mean? And
see, the thing is as well, Saeed, why Sancho's conversation is going to have more criticism is because Joga Bonito on the other side is bringing you certain things to the game. And I'm not being very critical because I love Jadon Sancho. He's a baller for Man United. I'm gonna be with him, but you have to compare the wings and the sides and who's gonna play the position. Man has just come in for the atrocious amount of transfer fee. But man is nutmegging people and flooring people, and people had concerns if he can be a player in the Premier League. And he's doing that. On top of that, he's scoring goals. On top of that, Anthony Joga Bonito, tell me if he's not physical, because by God is this guy physical. He will not lose that ball at any case. And people say he's too one-footed. Well, so be it, because he's so one-footed and he's so confident on it. He's willing to die by it. He's willing to show and die and be physical by it. Whereas Sancho is not really, is he?
Yeah, YUFC says at the end, he goes, EPL is tough. You have to have money, have to have more to you or your game, or you get figured out. I think it's having that bit of edge to him, isn't it? You know what I mean? But, a lot of players saying the German league isn't similar to the Premier League. Is there a feeling for you, Double A, that, you know what I mean? People don't want to answer that question. Is he suited to the Premier League in terms of what he likes to do? Like, is his game tailored to the German league? Or do you think as United evolved into a team and get better players, then you'll start seeing a better Sancho? But then, of course, the pressure gets more. And will he deal with the pressure? So it's a kind of a double conundrum for Sancho. We'll get better players, but then will he be able to deal with the pressure? But then also, you know what I mean? On the other side of it, is he suited to the league? Where are you in that kind of two conflicting points there?
Maybe I'm just in a United bubble, but is it only our players that get questioned about if they can cope in the Premier League? I never hear it about any other team's players ever.
Spot on.
Always United. Martinez, Malacia,
yes,
Antony, Casemiro, Casemiro, of all people. I only ever hear United players. And listen, Sancho's an English player, so it adds even more pressure. He's coming back. His history with City. It's always going to be extra pressure for him. And maybe, Flaw is saying we need a left winger. He knows he's playing. When Martial's injured, Ronaldo's going through whatever Ronaldo's going through. Who's his competition? Garnacho and Alanga. He's got them both beat at the moment. And maybe it's a Luke Shaw, Delo, Bruno kind of thing. I know I'm playing. I don't need to put 100% effort in, or, I can drop a 5 and I'm still going to play in the next game. Yeah. If we brought in another bubbling young or even established world-class Gakpo or whoever, and they started to put pressure on Sancho, I think we then see him buck up his ideas and say, listen, if I don't perform, if I'm not dropping 8s, maybe a 7 at the worst, I'm out the team and I'm not going to get back in. We need the competition around it. The squad is far too light. And, you say Alanga came on, and I don't personally think he's good enough to be a starter for Manchester United. Squad player, maybe at best. He is still very young, but he came on and did what Sancho wasn't doing. And I agree with Faz. Maybe, Alanga gets a game on Thursday. If he plays well enough, why not start him? Why not start him against West Ham? There's no danger in that. And let Sancho know, listen, if you ain't performing, Ten Hag is not going to fall for it, and he's going to make you pay. That's the best thing for him.
Alice said it maybe, but I don't really. He didn't really have competition. He was balling out. I just think for me, with the Sancho situation is right now, he needs to express himself a little bit more. But I think in a system where he's doing what he needs to do, he doesn't need to shine every single time. That's the beauty of what City do. Not every single player shines. It's a system. It works for Pep Guardiola. He doesn't want, and you start to see that with Grealish a little bit. Is he our sort of Grealish at the minute? I know it sounds crazy, Faz, but is he our sort of Grealish? Because Grealish is not doing what he did at Aston Villa, and now he's having to kind of make sure he keeps the ball. He's not allowed to flourish. What can you just pinpoint it out, like in terms of what he's not being able to do that you think he can do more of?
I think he's too reliant on players around him. He's way too reliant. He needs like this Martial-esque player to be there. I always say this, right? You can look at football technicality all you want, but I like normal English. Does Sancho have problem-solving abilities? Can he solve a problem? In a game where you face a problem, you brought Elanga in, man went blitz past 3 players, and we all 4 of us here agree Elanga's ceiling isn't that high. Let's be real. But man came on and boom, took 3 players against City, boom, put the ball in the box. Problem solving. That's a problem solve. He just solved a problem. Wasn't getting the ball in the box from the left-hand side. This is where Sancho needs to go and sit back and think, right, okay. And now you compare him to Jack Grealish. What does Jack Grealish do? What's Jack Grealish's bread and butter? Now, what's Jack Grealish's bread? Man can carry the ball. He drags defenders with him. He'll carry the ball right to the end. Yeah. He'll cut in, bring in, and put the ball in the inside for a hard sky net or someone, or fold into someone to put it in. You see Grealish as well. He'll always swap. He swaps, comes in the middle, goes on the left, comes in the middle, goes on the right. He's floating about, but the ball on his feet is always solid. He's clearly developed this whilst being under Pep's watch, that hold the ball more. Sancho, this is exactly why I say he needs to hold bench. He needs to go and assess his weakness and strengths with Ten Hag. He needs to go and just rejig himself. He's young enough to do that and say, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What have I tried that's worked? What have I tried that's not worked? Can I build my confidence back up? Because in all honesty, some players can play out of this, right? They'll play out of this low confidence and build it back up. But some players, if they play whilst they don't have confidence, it's a snowball effect. And they'll go downhill, downhill, downhill. And I don't want that for Sancho.
Guys, 700 of you watching the show. Big up to everybody who's watching first and foremost. But like the video, people. Come on, let's get at least 300 likes on the video. You know what I mean? Big up to everybody that's watching right now. Make sure you guys are all following everyone's channels. Big up to Awinski. Great points, AA. But for a professional to solely use competition as motivation is poor. Look at Shaw. We need self-motivated players. You know what I'm starting to like though? I feel like the guys who have come in, the foreign lads, you know what I mean, in terms of, you know what I mean, Lisandro, Anthony, Casemiro, they're starting to put a life. They're showing up these players, you know. I'll be honest with you, the ones that have been lacking hunger and have been demotivated, these guys have come in and bro, I love the celebration when Casemiro was like that, and I like that. You see Anthony doing that what he did. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. It's because, sorry to cut you off, fam. It's because it's a passion. Because obviously, under the last regime, being a passionate player kind of got laughed at. But you can be a passionate player who's talented also. Like, you can be a talented passion merchant. And people forget this. The Vamos merchants, as we say, like adding passion to a great player who's technically sound is all. But we've had many passion merchants in the past. You know what I'm saying? Many of them. But because it got laughed, you can't just solely be a passion merchant with no skill. But we're seeing that with the likes of Casemiro, Martinez, who you mentioned as well. So that's what that is. But that's just character. That's all that is. And they do have a winning mentality, especially Casemiro.
I don't want to say Sancho doesn't have any character, but I think sometimes you've got to have a bit of life on you on the pitch. And I feel like for me, because he's so, like, you don't really like see or hear about him on the pitch, and you kind of don't feel it. It's not like Sancho on the pitch. Yeah, we're not shouting Sancho, but you're shouting. Everyone's shouting Anthony, get the ball out to Anthony. And I feel like that bit of personality Sancho needs to just show it a little bit more. You can't be the guys at the, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just chilling in the class and like, you know what I mean? You've got to do something, innit? You've got to let them know, man. Sancho, you know, man.
You can't be letting you can't be letting games drift. One thing we do need to realize though is because somebody mentioned there, competition can't be your sole purpose for motivation, which I do hear. But two things I'll say about that is one is his age, and two, this is the first time he's faced adversity in his professional career. Let's not forget that he's not a Luke Shaw who's been around for 10 years. He was at Dortmund where everything was fine and he was flourishing. Damn, now he's come to Manchester United and things ain't working for the first time in your career. So this is new to him. So when we're saying, how come you can't deal with this? Because he's got to figure out how. Faz mentioned it about problem solving. Not only does he have to problem solve on the pitch, problem solve off the pitch. This is the first time, probably in his professional career, there may be a Dortmund fan in the chat that knows more than me, that he's gone through this, where he's had poor form and he's being questioned. So now it's going to be interesting to see how he deals with that. I'm hoping he can turn it around. But like I said, if he doesn't, he'll be moved on, which is what it is.
You know that feeling there, yeah. I can't lie to you. I feel like it's one of them, you know. Like if it works, it works. But I think the club and Ten Hag, I don't think they're like Ten Hag doesn't strike me as a man that is very, very concerned about players. You know what I mean, losing form, but then also like being like, yo, you need to solve that as well. You know, I can give you the tools to succeed, but Faz, he's gonna be letting you know that, yo, you got to do something as well. If you're not, listen, you're holding bench and I'll bring some other people in and I'll go get Gakpo. And this club is going to back me because they see that what I'm about and I'm the man, basically. And I think he is the man because I looked at him tactically yesterday and I was like, yo, we finally got a manager who's got tactics and can actually play ball. And we dominated the first half and we should have got a goal or two in that first half. So we've got a manager and I was thinking, yo, if you're not going to be step up, I got Gakpo in the waiting. I heard they might be getting me Liao. I don't know. Like, I'm just saying it, like, they can get me names in it. So don't worry. Your place is not. It's not there. It's not guaranteed, is it?
You feel I almost feel like I can understand Sancho. You know, the walls around him are just closing in on him. It's not going well for him at the moment. The guy on the other side just come on and started doing Joga Bonito and uploading Brazilian music on his Insta stories. You've got Liao in the transfer market talking. You've got Hakpo, everybody, chili sauce, garlic sauce, all these players that I keep hearing. Hakpo, Sheshko. People are talking about. I don't get these players as well, by the way, Hakpo and Sheshko. I don't get them, but people are talking about them, and you just feel like his confidence just keep going down and down. He just needs to take a breather, hold bench, chill.
Is he a Ten Hag player? Be honest with you. When you look at Ten Hag's system and his pressing, his high intensity, the way that we play right now, does he suit what Ten Hag wants?
I'm going to say something that might blow everybody's mind, and I've said this before, and people at the time bashed me for it, and they came at me. But Sancho's physique is a question of mine. Between preseason and he had a bit of gap coming on back to when the season started, his physique changed. I personally watched Dortmund as the season started because I wanted to see a lot of Sancho. I watched Dortmund whole All or Nothing series. I watched a lot of Dortmund games. Sancho was a couple of years younger, sure, but his physique was totally different. Totally different. I don't know if people want to pick that up, but you can go and check the research on how Dortmund used to train him, how Dortmund used to put him through his paces, also the players around him in Dortmund. Now, there are everything is about yin and yang. When he came to Manchester United, it was the worst time he could have asked for. Everything fucking went downhill. Ole, Rafa, everything freaking went downhill. Now, we're starting to going into a right direction. I hope he can find some things because I'm not seeing certain aspects of the game from him, man. Forget the ball stuff. Forget the nice stuff on the ball, man. Off the ball, this guy physicality is lacking. He's slow. I've seen him hands on his knees. I'm thinking, what's going on here? You're 22-year-old. You should be on fire right now. His physicality. I just look at the pictures between Dortmund Sancho and now Sancho. It's not looking good, bruv.
You know, Double A, in terms of what you said there, the physicality and whatnot, obviously, you know what I mean, Ten Hag would not play someone who, again, wouldn't fit his, you know what I mean, what he's trying to do and the intensity that he's wanting. It's just that, are we not going to get the Sancho that we want? Or is it a case of Ten Hag is playing him now? Because at the end of the day, he still has a lot of principles that Ten Hag likes. He keeps the ball well. He doesn't rush things. You know, he's very intelligent. His actual goal ratio to when he has a chance, is very, very high. So there are big things that he does possess, but everyone still wants that intensity, running 100 miles an hour because other players do it, and he's almost like not that guy that does it enough, if you know what I mean. Like, so what do you think in that in terms of the Ten Hag way future going forward? Like, it's a massive season for him if he's going to make it for next season as well.
Oh, absolutely, and he's clearly Ten Hag sees something in him because he's played a lot for him, and like we saw that there was a little purple patch he had on earlier in the season, got a couple of goals and assists, and none of this was mentioned. He was playing well, everything was rosy, or it was starting to be rosy. There was light at the end of the tunnel for Sancho, and then obviously something's happened. I know in the chat they were mentioning Anthony came, and the fact he's not now on the right wing where he apparently likes to play. Has that caused his confidence to dip? But he's still getting in the team, so surely that shouldn't affect you. You're still being chosen by the manager. He's played on the left before. I think he can fit this system absolutely fine. I think he's got the skills and he's got the mentality to do it. There's just at the moment there's a mental block there that's stopping him playing his natural game, and he's being caught out and called up on every little thing that he does wrong or doesn't do in most games. The one thing I want him to do is an attacker first of all. Yes, you have to come back and defend. Yes, you have to chase. You have to press. But the one thinking about it, the one thing I want him to see him do is just make the fullback second guess him, because at the moment it's far too easy. He's got his back to goal. It goes back to Shaw, or it comes into Eriksen or Casemiro or anything like that. I just want to see him turn and just make him second guess, and just even if you don't take him on, if you're making the full back think what is he going to do rather than I know what he's going to do and I can just give him 5 yards because the ball's coming nowhere near me. Let's start from there, and I think I don't want to overreact, and it's like
Yeah, of course.
He's never going to be the player we want him to be, because he can be. And I think what he needs from is just we need to back him, and then let's not pile this pressure on this young kid who's just figuring out. He's nowhere near the finished article, nowhere near what he's going to be. And I think we need to look at it like that and think just back the kid, just back him, man.
Yeah. Big up to everybody that's still watching. Over 750 of us here, 225 like. Let's get that to 300 people. Come on, let's
there's over 700. At least get to 400. You know what I'm saying? In that, the 700 at least. All we're asking for is 400. You know what I'm saying? In that, like we ain't asking. We're asking for more. You lot are asking for more productivity from Sancho. We're asking for more productivity from you lot in the chat with the likes. So please bump up the likes.
Absolutely. The thing is, big up to Ganzo. Big up to Faz on the right track. Read up on Lukaku into this. Shocked at how poor his shape is after coming back from Premier League dieting and conditioning. That's that mentioning Sancho there. I think my thing is you could either have there's two scales of a winger. You could have Rashford, who is electric, he's direct, he's fast, he's everything that a modern fan likes as well. Because you know what it is now with fans, they want that kind of side of it, and they want to be, on the edge of their seat and whatnot. But then you don't have the decision making, you don't have the finishing. Like Sancho is a better finisher than Rashford. I'll say it to you right now, people. It's just that Sancho doesn't get into positions enough that Rashford does, and this is a compliment of Rashford because he gets in them positions and Sancho doesn't. So they all have pros and cons, and it's about finding a balance. And I think Rashford won't ever have the intelligence of Sancho. He just won't. He's just so rash. He's so. It's like a magnet. He's just everywhere he wants to be where the ball is. And I feel like for me, that pace and power that you get from Rashford, you won't get that from Sancho. And on the flip side of it, and this is where I think for me, Anthony's our best player, because I feel like he's got the intelligence. He's fast. His trickery. I think we've got a gem in Anthony. I really, really do. It's just about piecing everything else together and finding a balance. And then we've got to rely on Sancho finding out when a striker comes back flawless. I mean, where are you in terms of this depth? Am I back?
Say that again. You broke up. Yeah, you broke up a little bit. Say that again.
Yeah. So in terms of the striker option now,
yeah.
Do we go buy a striker in January? Do we go find for another winger? Do we go get Gakpo? What's your? Because a lot of people are saying Gakpo's not it. You know what I mean? They've seen him in big games now, not really performed. So Planet Vaz is even speaking. Like, he's shaking his head. Where are you in terms of
Shaking his head.
who would you
In
go
terms
get in
of the
January?
players, in terms of the players you mentioned, like what positions we need, all of the above, like 110%. In an ideal world, I'd go get 2 strikers and a left winger. And we actually need a right winger for calling a spade a spade. I was saying it the entire summer. Whether Ronaldo was going to stay or not, we still need 2 strikers. Because we've seen it. As soon as Martial got injured, we were down to 1 striker. That's never going to be enough to last the whole season. Never mind the season with a World Cup in the middle and the fixture congestion. Look, it's been midweek game, weekend game, midweek game, weekend game for the longest. I've not seen enough of Gakpo to say whether I would go get Gakpo or not. But would I go and get a striker? Absolutely. We definitely need a striker. Because you mentioned it there about Anthony. One thing, he's Ten Hag signing and we're seeing how good he is and how he's flourishing in the side. We don't know what at the left winger is that Ten Hag would want. Would he want another Anthony type? Would he like someone who's a little bit of a different profile? You mentioned it, how Rashford's different. It's horses for courses. If you're playing on the counter-attack, you want Rashford in your side. We are going away to wherever and having a tough game, and we're playing on the counter-attack. You want Rashford in your side. If we're going to dominate the ball a little bit more and need a little bit more creativity, you're going to go with Sancho, which is good. You want all of these options. In terms of strikers, nobody stands out to me, but go and get a striker, without doubt. And ideally, I would like to see us go and get a left winger, because you don't want to sign one player and then you get injured and then you're back to square one. Because injuries will happen.
Ivan Toney, anyone? Faz, Ivan Toney for you?
I would definitely take Toney.
I like Ivan. I do like Ivan. But my number 1 striker in the world right now is Lautaro Martinez, man. He's the real deal. That is what you call a striker. Big game, small game, mid game, any game. He knows how to bring players in. He knows if he's alone in there, he knows how to handle it. Good in the air.
Difficult in January.
And no, Said, we ain't getting no one in January, Said. Grandad Glazer ain't giving not a single penny in January. It's not happening. You saw Arnold and Murta, man. Arnold said one thing, Murta said one thing. January, forget it. That we can, unless Said, you're ready to start a hashtag, I'll come and join you, man, at the Megastore protest. Then maybe we can get.
Yeah, that means our motivations are wrong, man. We're doing it for transfers.
Other than that, Said, we're not getting a single penny from Grandad Glazer, man. I don't know why people keep thinking like we might get a. Also, don't forget, the striker market is so dry. Everybody's strikers or forwards are starters. Ain't no club in the right mind is letting a striker go in January unless you're paying probably like 30, 40 mil above asking price. And asking price is going to be 20 mil above asking normal price as it is. So you're talking a lot of money in general for January. And it is impossible. It's not happening. I'm not even thinking for something that's not going to happen. Let's be real. I'm thinking for summertime, because Martial hopefully comes back and take us to the heaven's gates, man. I don't know where these guys going to take us.
That's the word. Hopefully comes back. You know?
Yeah, but Ivan Toney, look, if Ivan Toney is possible, I get it. I'll take it. But my issue is, if we get an Ivan Toney in January, we're not getting a Lautaro Martinez. And Lautaro Martinez is the real deal. He's the main type of guy who should be leading our line. That's the type of player. Do
you think Ten Hag?
Every game. But I like an Ivan Toney. Look. I like an Ivan Toney. 8 years, 7.5 years, not a day off in injury. 7.5 years, not a day off in injury. Been around the block of loan after loan. Been played loads of different teams. Doing his thing in the Premier League.
Injury record, right, man. You know what I mean? It's like until he sees out.
Ivan Toney's better than who? Lautaro Martinez.
One thing I would say is I would like Ivan Toney. Would I take? Yeah, would I take Ivan Toney? Yes. I just don't think in January it makes sense. The reason why I'm not going to do the Mitrovic thing, man's played well for 10 games and we're saying Mitrovic. No, nobody was saying this in the summer. Nobody was like, yo,
I'll be honest, Flawless, I'll be honest. I put my hand up. I did say Mitrovic in the summer because in the champ, he was killing it. He was killing it in the champ.
You're the exception to the rule. But what I'm saying is 99.9% of people, nobody was talking about Mitrovic who has done nothing in the Premier League like prior to this. Like, you can't just go for the flavor of the month. You just can't go for the flavor of the month. Absolutely not.
What are you thinking, Double A, in terms of strikers option? Our depth is shocking. When you look at our depth here, Palestri, Ilango, brother, it's not looking good, bruv. You know what I mean? It's not looking good. And our depth, you know what? Anas and a lot of people are saying we need a ball carrier. I think we do need a midfielder. Ericsson looked a bit leggy yesterday. He looked a bit, I don't know what was up with that. Obviously, he had a little injury, but I think for me, the over reliance on Eriksen now is starting to kind of like, we're feeling it now in terms of we need a bit of fresh ideas. I don't think we need a ball carrier, but again, can we get De Jong in January? I'm not sure we could, if I'm being honest with you. It relies on people going out the Champions League and then maybe dipping into that market where they fall into that Europa League. But not many players are going to go in there and go in. But who's out there that's a ball carrying midfielder? Let us know in the chat as well. But what are you thinking?
I think we are light all over. There's plenty of positions that we need reinforcements in, and you know, up front it's a tough one. I think Rashford is a winger. He needs to stop playing. At the moment, he's having to play as a 9. He isn't a 9. Let's stick him. You know, if we've got Sancho and Rashford on the left wing, I'm happy with that. And then we've got the fella from the favela over on the right, and then we get someone to back him as well. I think that will be good. You can't trust Martial. Shut up, you. Can't trust Martial. He's just unreliable. He's injury prone. Ronaldo wants to go. I mean, there's Leao obviously from Milan. Martinez, Lautaro Martinez, it would be a great one. And then like you say, there's a lot of strikers. A lot of people are saying, Jonathan David and I mentioned Gakpo and no one Gakpo. I don't think Gakpo. I just know that's the name we've been linked with the most in terms of bringing someone in. It's tricky, and you're gonna be paying a lot of money. Hopefully, there's someone in the World Cup comes through and we can get a steal on him, something like that. Midfield, again, I think Eriksen's been really, really, really brilliant, and he's come back from an injury. I agree with you. He wasn't on his best form yesterday, but I think that'll come good. And someone, I think it was Cass, was saying that Bruno, Eriksen, and Casemiro couldn't play in the midfield together, and we're showing against Chelsea. When was the last time? I can't remember the last time we went to Chelsea and dominated like that. Not at Stamford Bridge.
Facts.
That never happened. You know what I mean? Yeah. We forced the manager into a tactical change. When was the last time you seen Manchester United do that against someone? A long time.
It's been.
So, in terms of that, that's great. But then obviously when they drop out, Fred comes in and does these Fred things. Had a good game against Spurs, and then McTominay, you don't know what you're getting. Are you getting the McSauce or are you getting the McMayo? Just depends which end of the pitch is in. But I think we need 5 or 6 players, to be fair, Saeed. It's not just a case of one or two.
Isn't it?
But to actually be, we're on the brink of something, and we saw the glimpses that Ten Hag can bring to this team. But we need 5 or 6 all over the pitch before we can truly say that we may start to challenge for the league again. And Donny's still to come back. He's a miss.
He needs to get fit because we are short. You mentioned the double A in terms of us needing like 5 or 6, but I think all of us here all knew this. Like, I think we had a great window. We had a better window than I definitely expected, but I knew there was more needed because of the mess we was in. But it's a great start, and you mentioned it there. When's the last time we went to the bridge and done that? And we played different ways as well. We beat we just drew with Chelsea. We beat a Spurs team who many think, a lot of people will tell you Spurs are better than United. A lot of people will tell you Arsenal are better than United. A lot of people will tell you Liverpool are better than United. We beat all 3. We have to hold that into consideration if we're beating teams who are better than us during our rebuild situation. So I like where this is going, though. I do like where we're heading.
It's crazy, though, that Ten Hag is doing very, very well with that squad as well there. And the people will say, oh, well, you spent all that money. But I'm talking about the depth that we're talking about. It's not really a lot to bring on. And here, Sue says here, Vlahovic is a perfect striker, break the bank. I do like Vlahovic. And I think for me, when Faz talks about players like, dream signing, I think for me, Vlahovic would be a top, sign that we could bring. But again, Juventus will try and keep him. I am.
Sorry to cut you off. What type of profile is he? Like, who could you say, not who is he better than, but who is he like striker-wise? Who could you compare him to?
Almost.
You say Schmeichel?
Yeah, almost, yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, I'm just asking because I've not watched him like that to know. That's
left-footed, you know what I mean? He's so, honestly, his finishing ability is unbelievable. Link-up play is very, very tidy. I just think for me, he's one of them that I think, you know what? Quality. Enzo Fernandez as well. That's my dream target in the summer. Honestly, dream midfielder. If we can get him in the summer, that would be perfect as well. Igalo, if possible, to get through the summer, says Ledim. I think them days are over, man. I think, you know what I mean? Let's not go there, man. Let's not go there.
I'll be honest, I have my doubts on this Enzo Fernandez guy, man. I have my doubts.
Is that the Benfica one?
Look, I have my doubts.
Okay.
I'm getting Statman coming to me with stats from his game when he played Rio Avenue. Rio Avenue, man. God, Rio. I saw him against PSG. Vitinha was smoking them. And obviously he had Verratti in there to help them out, sure. But other than in that PSG game, getting lucky with that Danilo's own goal, he was lackluster. He was non-existent in that game. I am shameless, and I swear to God, I'll swallow the shameless pill. Go and get me Frankie de Jong, man. I don't care. Just make it happen so I can just say, you know what? We fell in love with this player. We tried again. We cried again, but we bought him. Just get it done. You fight for what's right. You fight for what you deserve.
Problem is, though, he's got himself back into the Barca team.
No. But
I don't think he'll leave.
Yes, but that Barca team, Spotify FC, Owl FC, OVO FC, they're not going nowhere. They're gonna meet us in the Europa League, and I wonder what his price is gonna be then. I really do wonder what his price is gonna be then, because let's be honest, Mandem, if I put to you between Enzo Fernandez and Frankie de Jong, let's be honest, you man are picking Frankie de Jong. You're picking Frankie de Jong.
Here's the thing. I don't know enough about Enzo Fernandez, but number two is on De Jong don't want to leave Barcelona. That's clear.
Listen, if things are not working out in Barca, Man said Champions League football. Well, welcome to that then.
I think he's waiting for Xavi to get sacked and then he's back into that team, man. I think Xavi right now is probably the reason why. Even Frank Kessie, I think we could go in for him next summer because he's not playing in a minute and his game time is massively limited. So there's listen, we might have to, when you dip into the market and you try and look for the ones that are in trouble, man, you might have to just scour out and find the ones that are in trouble.
Honest, I like Onana as well. I can't lie.
Yeah,
we faced him recently. I like Onana, man.
How Everton pulled that off without no other team. In that
midfield to match Casemiro in the number 8 position, Casemiro being the 6, in a number 8 to match that physicality whilst being able to carry the ball. Whilst being able, let's not even mention Paul Pogba because I'll start crying. Please, I'll start crying. Don't do that to me. But you have Casemiro with the physicality who doesn't really play the ball that much, but then you bring a player like Onana, physical, strong, aware, fast, can carry the ball, can pass the ball. In Premier League already, for the people who have this tick box of Premier League proven, you can tick that box off as well. I don't mind Onana, I would like him.
Nate H says, sell Sancho while he still has value. Big up the crew.
Come on, man.
Too early.
Man, talking about selling, and sell him to who? I'm saying in Jan, what?
Nah.
This top 4 battle. What we saying, Double A. You know what?
Easy.
Newcastle. I want to give massive credit to Newcastle. Relay Visuals is coming in with trolling and says we are
this guy. This guy. This guy's a troll, man.
If you know, you know, people. If you know, you know. Big up Belly Visuals, man. Been a while, man. But Double A, top 4 battle, 1 point behind Chelsea. I think it's 2 behind Newcastle now, I think, obviously, because they won today.
We have a game in hand on them, though. Don't forget.
We have a game in hand, yeah. We've got a game in hand on Tottenham, I believe, as well. And how many points we behind them as well? Let me go get the Premier League table. But you know what, man? I don't want to look too far.
I think it's free.
But what are you thinking, Double A, in terms of this top 4? I look at Chelsea, and I'm not scared of them. I'll be honest with you. Tottenham, I think we've dealt with them, and they're starting to not crumble at the minute. But there's massive questions about Conte, and there's a bit of, talking points. He said it's not obvious Ten Hag doesn't rate him. Get real, says Nate H. Nate H is on the Sancho out vibes. Yeah, okay.
Don't rate who? He don't rate. He might. You know what? He may be right. I'm not Sancho FC. If Ten Hag chooses to get rid of Sancho, I'm all for it. Whatever the manager's with, I'm with it.
For sure. But
yeah, man. What are you saying, man? In terms of this thingy and this top 4 battle, Double A, you go ahead first.
Yeah.
It's a proper cliche, but it's one that has to be used. We have to just take it one game at a time. We can't be hoping. And you know, you got everything crossed, yeah, that Varane's injury isn't serious, because once Maguire comes back, Lindelof didn't look too bad last night, actually. I'll give him some credit, and I would have Lindelof ahead of Maguire 100%. It's not going to happen, though, because he's the captain, and once he's back in the squad, he's most likely going to be playing, and I worry once he's back in the team, teams are going to start saying we can start
targeting him, yeah.
We can get at this defense again. And we're having to withdraw and play deeper just to allow him, you know, we build our team around Maguire and his deficiencies, unfortunately. I just want to see us be there when it matters. It's you know, 11 games in. We're there or about, aren't we? And you know, Newcastle's form, will that continue? You know, they are looking really good. Guimaraes and all them. Bruno looking good. You know, Almiron. You know, Jack Grealish wishes he was playing like him right now, doesn't he? I guess so.
Yeah,
it's one of them. It's funny how that comes around. So we're there, aren't we? You know, it could have been a lot worse. You think of there's 2 games at the start of the season. Are we going to be battling relegation with Arsenal like they were? Or thinking, you don't know, do you? And I just think we just got to keep plugging on, winning, picking up points, and see where we are when it matters near the end of the season.
Flawless, what are you thinking?
Same as I thought at the start of the season. I said we are good enough to compete and be in the race for top 4. Do I think we'll finish top 4? No, because towards the last stages of the season, I see Ten Hag prioritizing the Europa League when we're in the last stages of that. We've already spoke. You mentioned it twice already, Saeed, in regards to our squad depth. So unless we improve, obviously January could change my mind on that. If we improve in January and bring in 2 or 3 players, that makes it different. But I've said from the start of the season, target the Europa League. Not only is it a trophy that we need to win, you also get back into the Champions League as well. If we finish top 4, cool, but it's never something I celebrate. I never be like, oh my God, like, no. You know what I'm saying? You get no trophy for it whatsoever. Go win the Europa League, win a European trophy, get back into the Champions League. And if we finish 4th, yeah, great confidence. Can be a great confidence booster for the players and also a platform for United to build upon. But it's like, I'm not into this Liverpool thing and being the best runners up. Like, I'm not with that.
Faz, what are you saying? Are you getting excited for this top 4 now? What are you thinking United can achieve now? Is it? I'm just looking at it from my point of view, taking it game by game. I think that's the best thing to do for United, because I don't know if we have the mentality. There's a lot of players that dropped, you know what I mean, form-wise. We always like, you know what I mean, our players are still consistently perform for more than 5-6 games, then they drop off a little bit. Where are you in terms of your mindset now, this top 4 race?
So originally at the start of the season, when we made our predictions, I said, with all big chest, I said Man United will come 3rd. Straight up. Forget all this sport. Yeah, okay. Straight up. I said it in every team. I said it everywhere. Straight up. I see the vision.
I think 3rd's available though. Tottenham are not going to Tottenham might not secure 3rd. I think the first 2 might kind of make a little gap. But even then, I don't know. Like, we're only 8 points behind Arsenal. Like, and I'm not saying like it's only, but I'm just saying like, you know, it's not as if
saying league title, Saeed, say it with chest, man. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, Florence, that's what I'm saying, man. I'm not part of that giddy crew anymore, man. I don't do that. I do not do that. But I'm just trying to say, like, you know, Flawless, it's not as if we're mountains away from people.
I agree with that. I don't think we are. And is top 4 possible? Yes, if we was to finish 4th, yeah, because there's so many variables with the other teams. At the start of the season, Chelsea had Tuchel. Now they've got Graham Potter, so we don't know how they're looking. Liverpool falling off a cliff. We don't know if they're gonna bounce back. You know what I'm saying? Spurs, even though they've been getting results, they're not a good. Like Conte he's a terrorist. People call him a terrorist. He's a terrorist. That type of football is not sustainable. I've watched them. Like, I watched them against us. I watched them today against Newcastle. He played a back 5 with 3 DMs at home to Newcastle. No disrespect, but it's Newcastle. Like, that's not sustainable. You know what I'm saying? You looking to chase the game at home and you're bringing on a left wing back for a left wing back. I'm telling you.
You know what I'll say? As I was saying, Man United can come 3rd. I still believe, and I'll say so that people can hear me clearly. Manchester United in the 22-23 season will come 3rd. I don't do none of this, all this left, right, straight to the point, full stop. Planet Faz, Manchester United, in the 22-23 season, we'll come third. I ain't scared of no Chelsea. I ain't scared of no Dixie Chicken, Potato FC, freaking Fossil Football. Graham Potter, the guy, I really like him as a manager. But in Chelsea, you can clearly see he's trying to figure things out. 1 week, he's playing Aubameyang. 1 week, he's playing Broha. 1 week, he's playing Pulisic. Reece James is out. Fofana's out. He's got his own headaches to deal with. He was very shaky against us. Very, very shaky. He had to make the tactical decision, Kovacic coming on, and then man had to strip at later on in the game to try and cool down after all the heat that Casemiro put on him. But you saw, Chelsea don't look that strong. My concern, and it's weird, but it's Newcastle, because they ain't got Isaac and they ain't got Maximus, and they still cooking. Eddie Howe is figuring a way out of how to collect these points. Newcastle haven't even scratched the amount of money that they could have spent, and it doesn't mean that spending money will automatically mean good football, because we've spent money how many years. But Eddie Howe is a serious manager. They spend money the right way. They do business the right way. I'm very keen to see how they do business in January to go and help them in the season, because I did pay attention to Eddie Howe's press conference. He said the maximum, he's ready, but they're not bringing him on straight up because he's got the same injury reoccurring. So this time they're taking extra precaution. With Isaac, obviously he came in the scene beefing everyone, word to heady one, and now he's gone off injured. Now we don't know what happens when he comes back after the World Cup. That's the only person I'm worried about. Liverpool, Scousers can go and do what the hell they want, man. Feed the Scousers. Let them know it's Christmas. They can do what they want, man. We're not worried about them. They can do what they want.
Let's go fast.
No, we can.
It's not even Christmas time yet.
The man is showing off his teeth in the middle of the pitch. I don't know what he's doing. Klopp is in the mud. FSG in, Klopp in. I'm loving. I am absolutely all for Liverpool's downfall. Liverpool fans call me, and I love putting the phone down on them. Or if I answer, it's just silence. They're just breathing on the phone, not saying anything. Forget them. Saeed, you have to keep chest. 8 points from Arsenal. I know it's a lot of points, but it's in comparison not a lot of points. We can do well, man. We'll do well. And also, by the way, if we don't come third, all the blame is on Martial FC. So I've got my backup plan as well. I've got my strategy to get out as well. I've got a bulletproof plan.
How did you get
all the blame is on Martial FC? Because, man, you have to realize we slapped up Arsenal, we slapped up Liverpool with slight help from Martial, we slapped up Spurs. We're slapping up teams, man, without Martial. Let's be real here.
Now, Martial was in that Liverpool game.
When Martial comes back, though. But wait, when Martial comes back, heaven's gates, man. I see the bright lights. Can you not see the bright lights when Martial comes back? Now, if we don't get third, it's Martial's fault.
I see the bright lights when Martial comes back when we win the Europa League. I've gone out on a limb and said this. I've said Manchester United win the Europa League. I've said this. You know what I'm saying?
The bright lights is just your background fans. That's all it is, mate. They're the bright lights.
So basically, Razzi's put a prediction out there, and he said, if it doesn't happen, blame Martial FC. That's the thing.
That's wild, you know. That's wild.
Say it, I got a foolproof plan. I come ready.
I don't know if that's foolproof. It's a plan. Yeah, I don't know if it's foolproof, though, but it's a plan. You know what I'm saying? It's a plan. It might not go to plan, but it's a plan.
Oh yeah, by the way, man, I want to say, man, I'm gutted that Varane's out as well, man. He's out for 4 weeks. Man. I hope he gets a speedy recovery. But yeah, it's a big blow, man. And you know, I knew it was serious when he was. He looked like he was proper crying and emotional about it, man, because you know, I mean, he knew his body, and I think everyone else and them Chelsea fans that were trying to boo him off the pitch, like, chill out, man. You know what I mean? Like, people's one guy's there, he's crying about not making a World Cup, possibly. And you guys are just trying to get him off the pitch, man. You know what I mean? What's wrong with you people? But listen, it is what it is, people. But we move. Big up to everybody who's still here. 730 of you still in the chat. I don't know if we've hit 300-400 likes, but listen, we'll leave it to the people in it. Make sure you hit the like button. It's so easy to do, and it helps the algorithm. It helps the channel grow more. Makes the difference that you probably don't remember. Big up to everybody that's put a super chat in tonight. Love to everybody at Winsky. Everybody that's put a super chat. Love to you, man. Them Flawless, man. Let them know where they can find you, man.
Yes, people, big up always for having me, Saeed, as well, man. Enjoys this show thoroughly. You lot bump up the likes as well. That's me Flawless on Twitter and Instagram. That's me Flawless. And then Sarcasm City TV. Go subscribe to the YouTube. Go follow the Twitch as well, because we're live tonight. midnight for the Q&A, Sarcasm City Sports Q&A, and then next week, all the shows coming up, all the football content with Premier League, Champions League, Europa League, NBA's back as well, so we're doing that, NBA, NFL show on the Twitch as well, people. So make sure you check everything out.
Yeah, man. Go check him out, Sarcasm City. Big up to you, Planet Faz. Let them know, man. Let them know what you're doing.
I gotta listen. Parental guidance, man. Before you come to Planet Faz, you have to be ready because it ain't for everyone. I just tell you now. If you want to come to Planet Faz, you just type in Planet Faz. I'm here, there, everywhere. But you gotta be ready, man, because I come with a lot of chest. I don't come with no sitting on the fence stuff. I don't do sitting on the fence.
No, Faz, are we gonna win? Are you with me? We win in the Europa League this season.
We're coming. Manchester United are coming third in the 22-23 season and winning the Europa League.
I'm with you on the latter one. I'm with you. I'm with you. The Europa League thing. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Background noise. There's a lot of background noise, man. Filter out the background noise. Why is my manager walking out on the pitch before a game? Because he sees the vision. He's seen what's going on. McTominay's been changed. David De Gea's coming out for sweeper keeper, man. You seen Dalo 90 minutes.
Tell him.
Dalo has played 90 minutes, 10 games in a row. 10 games almost in a row. Come on. We're cooking. 70 million on Casemiro, butchering up people. Martinez, Anthony not making people. Let's believe in the process.
Yeah, there we go.
Ole has since Ole left, Said is aging backwards, man. Look at him. Said looks young now.
He is young.
Let's believe in the process.
Said, the gym working as well. You looking slimmer, you looking in shape, man. You know what I'm saying? Love to see it, fam. The dieting working. Yeah, man. Love to see it.
Yeah, man. Big up, man. Big up. Big up to Double A, man. Let them know where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, as always, big up to you, man. Always good to spend this Sunday evening with a man, them talking everything, Man United. It's always good. Other than that, I'm the main guy on Talking Kit. If you're into your football shirts, come and head over to Talking Kit. We're the best around talking about football shirts. We like to rank. I said rank some football shirts. We go to Desert Island Kits. Best place to be. If you'd like me to speak about more football, I'm also one of the guys on Never a Foul. I have a show with Daps, United fan and City fan together. Always gets a little bit heated, but yeah, you can see me everywhere. But yeah, big up you, man. It's make sure you smash your email, subscribing to everyone, because you don't get this good content anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? It's
facts.
This is it, people. This is it, man. So big up to everybody who's locked in. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. I'll be back tomorrow again for the Straight Jacket podcast 201. So we're gonna go into the 200s now. So big up to everybody who's been part of the journey. Subscribe to the channel, and yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.